In observation of our nation's birthday, we're going to tell you about a special benefit for 29 million veterans and service personnel in this country. Hello everybody, my name is Barry Horvath and this is Moving Forward TV with your local market update.
And I am DeLynn Gaston. Thank you so much for joining us on this lovely eve of the 4th of July.
Yes, it is. Well, depending on when they watch the show.
Our nation's birthday.
But then it's when it's first day.
I know, that's true.
Some people are a little slow to catch up, but look where we're at.
And watch the reruns.
We're our nation's capital. Yeah,
I know, look at that. Ta-da, there's the Capitol.
We're kind of like...
We're coming to you from Washington, D.C. Not.
No, but we got some great information this week because we love our veterans.
Yes,
and we
do.
appreciate our veterans. And to me, the spirit of the 4th of July is kind of about veterans. I know
Absolutely.
It's our country's birthday and it's a big celebration.
Yep. And we wouldn't have
Fireworks.
the celebration to have, let me put that on silent. We wouldn't have the celebration to have if it weren't for our veterans who we really do thanks. No, I'm good. Go ahead, finish your tweet.
Our guests won't. They don't mind. Well, wait. Go ahead. Anyway,
I love that line from Deadpool. Anyway, so our veterans, we are talking about VA loans is what we're talking about, and selling to veterans out there. You know, there are some stigmas and some myths and things like that that surround the VA loan, and we would like to dispel some of those myths and tell you some of the encouraging things. Right now, actually, we have probably, I don't know, in the last month, I'd say we've probably had like 6, 7, 8 VA loans.
Yes.
So the veterans are definitely out there and they're buying houses. Yeah. So if you're not selling to veterans, you should be.
And it's a great benefit that these veterans have,
yes.
And a lot of them aren't aware of it. And I think our real estate partners and professionals, we need them to educate them that there are options for
yes.
veterans. And it's really to me, I'm going to tell you, it's the best loan program out there right now. If you understand it, if you know how to do it, if you know how to work with it, if you know all the parameters, the guidelines. And we
do.
Yeah.
It is absolutely the best loan. In fact, when people call me, and they say, well, I'm a first-time home buyer, I don't know what my options are.
Do they call you all the time?
They call me all the time. Stop.
Sorry.
It's one of the first questions I ask them. I say to them, well, there's, these so many programs. The best one that's out there right now is for veterans. By any chance, are you a veteran? That's my first line that I say to people. So it is absolutely the best loan that is out there. And don't be afraid of it. I know people are afraid of it sometimes because it's a government-backed loan. And
if it's the government, it can't be good.
Right, or appraisal
issues.
Did
I say that?
Or they think rates are high, right?
There's so many myths about it.
There are. So let's talk about some of the positive things, shall we?
So some of the positive things. So you know what? I know we're going to get more into who's eligible, not eligible.
Right.
But there's more than 29 million eligible veterans out there. So there's a big pool of people out there, and service personnel. They don't necessarily have to be called a veteran.
Right.
They simply could have served in the reserves for a period of 6 years.
And they are also eligible.
Yeah, so we'll go more into detail, but about that eligibility part later. But so my point is, there's a large pool of people out there who may qualify for this loan that you may not know about, and they're right in your backyard.
Well, I think they know about it, they're just not sure about it. They don't understand it,
so
and they sometimes stay away. One of the other things that we did want to mention, right off the bat, a lot of times the veterans think that because they've already used their VA benefit to buy a home back in 1985 or something like that, they think that they can't again. Absolutely not. Their VA entitlement can be restored As
I
long
like
as,
that word.
Right.
Restored.
That's what it's called. It's called restoration. It can be restored. If they don't know how to do it, we can certainly walk them through how to do it to get it restored again so that they can use their VA benefits to buy a house
cool
again.
thing, isn't it?
It's a very cool thing. Okay, can I flip this page now?
Sure,
There we
flip
go.
the page. So
Okay.
what type of loans can you do? Well, first of all, obviously we're talking to our real estate professionals, so you can absolutely do a purchase loan.
Right.
Number one on the list. Number
Right.
one thing they're used for. You can also do, there are VA construction loans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who does them,
I don't either.
but they're out there.
But they're out there
There
somewhere.
are lenders that offer them. The VA does insure those. And there's a refinance program for VAs, and we've been doing
And under
some of those.
refinance, it goes into two different categories. So the first one is if you already have a VA loan and you want to refinance it, that's fine. It's called an IRRL, IRRL. It's really an interest rate reduction loan, is how VA terms it. Or, and we just did one of these, somebody who had a regular loan, but it was at a higher interest rate, and they wanted to do some cash out for home improvements and things. We put them into a VA as a refinance, put them into the VA loan, and they were able to get 100% of the value of the home, 100% financing, and cash out, and lower their
So-
interest
so
rate,
what you're
and
saying-
no PMI. I mean, it was a phenomenal
win-win-win-win.
win-win-win-win.
Yeah, so they use that money for consolidation of debt
Yes.
as well. So they can use the cash out for anything they
Anything that they want,
want, as long as they qualify.
up to 100% financing.
crazy.
How cool is that?
That's crazy.
No other loan program does that.
You gotta love our government for
I know.
doing that. So, and also,
There's also energy-related features. So if you're going to improve
Update.
your home,
right, put in more
update things.
insulation, updated
New
AC,
windows.
windows, solar panels, something like that. There are programs that will actually allow you to go into your escrow to
Right.
do that. So,
A lot of
interesting.
options out there
Yep.
if you are a veteran. One thing I do want to say before we even go into this part of it, one thing I do want to say, the only thing is,
You hear voices?
I hear voices telling us
voices.
this. Anyway,
love
if
our
you,
show.
if you are going to go into a VA loan, only the veteran and spouse are allowed on the loan. So if it's a boyfriend, girlfriend or something, if they're both veterans, that's fine. But if only one of them's the veteran, then sorry, Charlie, you better get married.
And
And we have
same-sex
had people do
marriages?
that. Same-sex marriages is fine.
Wow.
I know.
I think we should break on that note.
I think so too.
And when we come back, we're going to tell you why you may want to consider a VA loan now. we're back with information to salute our veterans.
That's right.
During our nation's birthday. What great timing.
On why you should get a VA loan. It is the best loan out there.
Well, why you might want to consider that as an option if
No,
you have it.
no, why you'd want to get it.
If you can.
If
Listen,
you look at all the options, there's no consideration needed.
right,
The VA is the best.
DeLynn, you're going to
Yes.
buy a house.
Okay.
All right.
I already have one, but okay, I'll buy another one.
You're buying another one. Okay. You want to do
I'm
a
not
VA
a
loan?
veteran.
Oh, so not everybody can do one.
No, but the 29 million people that you were talking about
I agree, but
certainly
maybe not
can.
everybody's eligible. So,
True.
but the people that are, the funny thing about it is, I think there are people that are eligible that don't think they are. And
I
that's-
know.
Maybe that's a lot of the point of our show
Right.
this week. So you got to fish and dig and maybe find out, are they eligible? And if they are, maybe it makes sense to do it.
And it's just a handful of questions that we need to ask them,
we don't
and
prick your finger.
and we can find
We don't
out.
take
It's real
blood.
easy.
Well, she does, but I don't. I'm really gentle.
Just. All right, so
Nice guy. Come on, you know that.
I do know
All right,
that.
so why should you do a VA loan? First thing on the list, my favorite, and all of you who want to hold on to your money and invest it in that volatile stock market right now, is there's no down payment. You like
None.
how I threw that in?
Yes, I do.
As the market's like, if you don't like it in the morning, hey, it's up. Hey, it's down. Hey, it's up. It's down. So what do you think mortgage rates do? Hey, they're up.
Oh, they're down.
They're kind of
They're
coming
going
down. If you don't like them, wait a minute. So I think it's a great.
It's a seesaw.
It's a 100% financing program.
Right.
Bottom line. Where else can you get that?
Notice we didn't say no money is needed. We said no down payment is
Yes,
needed.
100% financing
Right.
program.
The other thing that it automatically runs through the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, AUS system, automated underwriting system. So they're quick and easy. So another thing that we hear is, oh, they take too long. No, they don't. They
No.
take the exact same amount of time.
In fact, it's quite the opposite because remember the VA is insuring this loan.
Right.
So while they may be strict in some guidelines, the underwriting actually, because a portion of the loan is guaranteed, actually can be easier. For
That's right.
example, higher debt ratios in a VA loan,
Are allowed.
meaning you carry a lot of debt. I mean, we've had them approved at 55% back-end debt ratio,
Right.
where you would have never in a million years got that approved on conventional and even FHA.
Right.
So another reason to consider a VA.
Now, the part that I love about the VA loan, in addition, he likes the no down payment part. So when there's no down payment or when there's just a
like
tiny,
it.
tiny down payment, what happens?
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. So when there's just a tiny, tiny down payment, what happens? Everybody says, oh, there's less than 20% down. We need PMI. And everybody goes,
Oh, that's
PMI.
gonna boost my
Oh,
payment.
that's going to do.
No,
No PMI.
nope, not a.
No down payment and no PMI. How
Thank-
awesome is that?
Thanks for your service. That's what
Thank
I
you
say.
for your service. That's
Yeah.
one of my favorites on there.
And
The interest rates.
the interest rates, what a farce that is. I heard somebody say, oh, VA rates are higher.
No.
No, quite the contrary, because VA rates can actually, depending on loan size, depending on credit score, depending on the zip code, can be lower. So you got to.
And in most cases are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say more times than
100%
not.
financing, no PMI, and lower interest rates?
Yep.
So why aren't we considering this loan?
Because they're better.
All right, so loan maximum up to 100% of the value of the home.
Right. So there's a key word in here, reasonable value. So one portion of the VA is the VA appraiser is a different appraisal, may tend to be a little more conservative or guidelines on what they're looking for than say a conventional. So the value's got to be there. So if it's a good VA appraiser, the value's going to come in.
Right.
More than likely.
And
But
most
if you
of the time-
overprice it, you're not going to slip it by the VA appraiser.
And it's not like these appraisers are from way out. Don't panic about that either, because a lot of the our regular local appraisers who are on our approved appraiser list are also VA certified.
Right.
So it's the same appraisers. They're doing either a VA or they might be doing a conventional, they might be doing an FHA. They're certified for all of them in most cases. So it is an appraiser potentially that you already know.
So that's a good thing. And,
Right.
And of course, I
No.
love that. There's no prepayment penalty. Of course, most of your regular loans today, conventional,
Right, don't have a
FHA,
prepayment
don't have
penalty.
it. Some of the portfolio loans do have the prepayment penalty.
But not VA.
Yeah,
So let's talk about the qualifications. So it's real simple, 4 things, just like everything else. Income, credit, and occupancy.
So
it does have to be an owner-occupied. You do have to have relatively decent credit, not perfect. By all means,
less than perfect
again, it
credit's
runs,
okay.
less than perfect is okay. And of course, you have to be able to qualify for it. And I say this because a lot of times, unfortunately, these veterans come out and it's not explained correctly to them. And they think that just because they're a veteran, they get the loan. They don't have to have a job. They don't have to be able to pay for it. Right, that's what happens. Incorrect.
Ouch.
They do still have to obviously be able to pay for the loan. So we do check their income, we do check their credit, we do check the occupancy. It has to be an owner-occupied property. And then the last one is the availability of their entitlement. Every single veteran, I think that's our next page, isn't it? The entitlement?
Yeah.
Maybe.
No.
Every single veteran, I already said that part though, about it has to be a spouse.
Yeah.
Every single veteran gets an entitlement as long as it has been an honorable discharge. Dishonorable discharge, no VA benefit.
Right. So that's
So it does have to be an honorable discharge, and then their entitlement is based on the length of time that they served.
Yes.
And there's a calculation and a formula and stuff like that, and we won't go into that.
Do we have time to go over myths before a break?
I don't. Apparently we have 1 minute. I think we can do these myths.
All right. So here's the myths about, we already talked about interest rates being higher.
Because we
They're
touched
not.
on these already.
There's too much paperwork. There's not. It's the
a
same.
handful of
And
extra
red
papers,
tapes.
and that's not a lot.
VA appraisers, we already kind of covered that. Take too long? No.
Here's something interesting about that. Guess what? The VA appraiser in our area, because we deal with the VA Service Center in St. Petersburg, and they are required to have a VA appraisal turned in within 5 days. 5 days.
Right.
So that's actually shorter in some cases.
Yeah, because we've seen 8-10 days on some other ones. So, and VA loans may be assumable. So
which is a great feature as well.
Maybe a future selling. But you know what? We're going to talk about entitlement, which is what most of you millennials have right now. Oh, did I just say that?
Oh,
don't
can't
shut
believe
us
he
off.
went there.
I'm just kidding. But we'll cover that entitlement right after this.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
All right, we're back talking about our favorite subject.
This box is whispering to me. I know.
Is that part of the show?
No.
The entitlement.
The entitlement for veterans. Yes, you have entitlement. All we need from you is your DD-214. You need a certificate of eligibility, but don't worry if you don't have it. We can get it for you. You can either go on the VA website or we can help you get it. All we need is your DD-214, which
got it covered.
everybody has that.
We got it covered.
And we'll help you get it.
Yeah.
The VA website is awesome
All
for
right,
helping them get
now
that,
can
though.
we get what all of the real estate professionals really are worried about?
I was just going to say, the most important part, we save the best for last. The question that we get all the time, you guys hear us say all the time,
All the time.
don't forget to get seller concessions for the non-allowables. There are definite fees that the veteran is not allowed to pay.
And people think that we're like making that up.
I know, well, or they think that, well, if the veteran's not allowed to pay them, then you can't charge them. Wrong.
Yeah, because I don't know.
They're still owed.
I don't know a title company.
Who's going to do it for free?
Yeah. Do you?
They're not going to work for free. It's still a charge, and they're allowed to get paid for that. It's just that the veteran can't pay it. So guess who's left to pay it?
Yeah.
The seller.
Okay, so let's go through the seller concession. So first of all, the amount of seller concessions allowed. 4% reasonable fees is what the VA says.
Right.
So can you go more? There are opportunities that you can actually go more.
And can you go less?
Yes,
absolutely. You can go less as well.
But as a guideline, 4% should be the number of reasonable charges. So 4% max on a $100,000 purchase, $4,000.
Right.
That's allowed. And that's going to cover your non-allowables.
And actually, that's probably a lot to cover the non-allowables.
Yes.
We don't even need that much. To be perfectly honest with you, the non-allowables, most of the time, and it depends, because a lot of this stuff is percentage-based, so it depends. It's going to be different on a $100,000 house versus a $300,000 house. The amount is going to be different. It's those math things. I usually say to most of the realtor partners out there, you know what, $2,000 for the most part will cover it.
Yes.
Don't you think?
That's
$2,000 is going to cover it.
It's more like $1,200 to $1,700, but $2,000 will cover
again,
it.
depending upon the loan size, it's more like that.
And depending on the title company.
Right. Right. And what their charges and their fees are and things like that.
So let's.
One thing they're never allowed to charge. Hold on, I know. One thing they're never allowed to charge, just so that you guys know, the real estate transaction fee. That's an important one.
Well, I wanted to tell them the list of things they can't charge.
Oh, okay.
Here are the non-allowables. So
Okay,
go ahead,
go
DeLynn. What do you think is the most important number that can't be paid by the seller for these VA loans?
The real estate transaction fee.
You mean the real estate transaction fee can't be charged to the veteran?
No, you said to the seller for a second. Can't be charged to the veteran. No, it can't.
Okay,
see, it's
good.
right there in
So
blue and white.
don't get mad at closing when you can't get your $295 fee, $250, whatever it is. You can't get it from the veteran.
Right.
There's nothing you can do about it. You can't recall it something else.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
You get
Sorry.
your commission and run. Sorry.
Right.
You know what? They served our country. It's their benefit. So they get your money.
That's right.
And
you
we
just
give
can't
up.
charge. You
Everybody
can't charge
gives
them.
up. So we all got to give.
The other thing, like we were saying, the settlement fee,
Or the
which
closing fee.
Right, or the closing fee, or the attorney fee, if you're in an attorney-closed state like up north, New York, Connecticut, things like that, they're an attorney. That's not allowed to be charged. Again, doesn't mean that they don't deserve to get paid for sitting there doing the closing. Right. You just can't charge the veteran that. Okay. So that has to either be moved over to the seller's side of the, I was going to say HUD. No.
Closing disclosure.
Closing disclosure has to get moved over to the other side, or the seller has to just give a concession on the contract to pay those things.
Or the other things that cannot be charged are doc prep fee, tax service fee, cannot be charged. And you know what? I'm going to tell you, here's a secret on how you can get your...
No underwriting fee, no origination. No, I'm sorry, there is origination. Underwriting fee, processing fee, none of those are allowed to be charged. However, the lenders are allowed to charge a 1% origination fee, which under the new loan estimates and CDs, all of that falls under origination. Your underwriting fee, your processing fee, things like that falls under there. So as long as it doesn't exceed 1%,
you're fine.
Then you're fine.
You're fine. So here's the thing. I've had some agents go, seller won't pay any of the closing. Then if it's not a big enough loan, you're probably not going to be able to do a VA. If
Then then don't.
And I had
accept a VA.
another agent. Another way that you can get your real estate transaction fee is to have the seller pay it. Again, seller concessions. So if you
Right.
want to get that real estate transaction fee, that we're not saying you don't deserve it. You got to
Right.
get the seller to pay help on
Right.
closing costs, seller concessions on it.
Just ask us. Just give us a call and ask us if you
Yeah.
have any questions. I answer that question.
We want you to get paid.
Constantly.
We
Yes.
want you to get paid. Don't
With-
find out at closing that, oh no, there's not enough room.
Right.
Because if there's a choice between an under or a settlement fee being paid to the title company or a real estate transaction fee, I can promise
Guess
you
which
which one's
one?
going to get paid.
Right. You know, the other thing that we wanted to mention as well, some of you know it, some of you might not, it used to be that the veteran could not pay termite inspection, which is a requirement. It's the only loan that it is a requirement to have a termite test done. The veteran used to be couldn't pay it. Now in the state of Florida, and it differs state to state, in the state of Florida, the veteran is absolutely allowed to pay it. So don't worry about your seller having to pay that anymore.
All right, so we got to wrap up.
I know, and we didn't even
touch on it. So you know what? Funding
There's
fee
more.
for VA, there's so much. It's 2.15% and 2.4 for reserves and the National Guard. Subsequent use, meaning that
if they're using it for a second time,
it's
they're
3.3%.
And guess what? The seller can pay that too.
That's right.
That is absolutely allowable for
and
the
of course,
seller.
if they are disabled from service or receiving any government pension from the service, those fees are waived. So
Right.
important you know that, okay? So much to learn about
Feel
it.
free to call us,
and-
ask us the questions. We're happy to help you and educate you on it.
Remember that, you can shop lenders for this. Remember, the VA does not write these loans. The lender does. They're insuring a portion
Very
of it.
important.
So you know what? This is great information. We don't have any more time.
We're out of time.
Get our show out.
Tweet
share
us, like us.
We're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Tixie, Tumblr, whatever.
All
else
that
you call
stuff.
it.
Thanks,
And
everybody,
forward
for
this
watching.
email. Thanks for watching.
We are today and every day.
Moving forward.
See you next
week.
week.
Happy
Bye.
4th.